Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and just to be on the safe side, hello. In fact, it's good evening here because I'm a little late starting the recording today, and it's actually getting dark outside, but hopefully I'll have a little bit of time to finish before hubby comes home. If not, I'll have to complete this tomorrow. But we started the week with the usual blah blah, hellos and highs, which is fine, and here I am on Skype, whatever. And the first comment that sparked a conversation was from Shania, who said, "Hello there, I'm new here, what are you guys doing?" So Shania, you need to work on your punctuation and your capitalisation. Hello should start with capital H. I'm capital I apostrophe M. And what? Capital W. Don't forget your question mark at the end. Avoid using just the letter U for you. It's Y-O-U. Just get into good habits before you develop bad ones. Hi, Shania, said Zeb. I'm running late for work, so I decided that was not point to rush now. Lol, how are you doing? So you wouldn't say there were not point, okay? I decided there was no point. And I would say there was no point rushing, okay? And I wouldn't say now then because you've used that rushing, okay? So I decided there was no point rushing. I wrote, it's an interesting expression, running late. Did you run to work too, Zeb? It's not an option, said Zeb. It's forbidden to run in the metro. Now that would be something, wouldn't it? Is there a background story behind the expression running late? What is it? To be honest, I said, I've no idea. It's probably something to do with time or maybe the train system in the UK. Our trains are notorious for running late. Zeb said, your trains are also very expensive compared to France. Okay, you'd say compared to France, okay? It's also an ordeal to select which ticket to buy and from which company. I prefer much more your bus and coach system. So I would say I prefer your bus and coach system more. Okay, or just I prefer your bus and coach system. And believe it or not, there are plans afoot to simplify the ticket buying on the trains because I think people have realised it is way too complicated. Everything in the UK is expensive, I said. It's not called Rip Off Britain for nothing. Maybe it's the price we have to pay for being an island. Which infers, said Zeb, that living on an island has got its advantages. What are they? I can't actually say because I prefer living on the mainland. I prefer living on mainland Europe. I guess living on an island, you have more coastline and you're not that far away from the sea. Okay? Okay, so let's scroll up through the highs and the hays and the add me on Skypes to Bediran. And Bediran said, hi, hi, hi there. So good, he said it thrice. So, hi, just the one, capital H. Is there anyone? Okay, capital I, is anyone there? That's a question. And then put the question mark straight after the E. Hi, Bediran, said Zeb. May I ask you what you teach? And I can only presume Zeb has been looking at people's profiles again, because I'm like, teach? How does she know he teaches? And Bediran said, sure, I teach Turkish. And Zeb said, does teaching a language help you to learn English? I mean, you probably know how to stay motivated and what works for you. Yes, it helps me in some ways to learn, said Bediran, because, you know, teaching learning methods have some common points. Okay, so because, comma, space, you know, comma, space, which is fine, teaching learning methods have some points in common, okay? You can say have some common points, but I would say have some points in common. Then you've got but as a new sentence. I'd put in a comma and then but with a small b. But every language requires different approach. I'd say a different approach because of their special form as well. Ooh, I think here I would say because they have unique differences. What's your approach to learn English? Asked Zeb. I'd say, what's your approach to learning English? And Betty Rand said subject, verb, object. Now, I'm surprised Zeb didn't run away screaming here, but she went, do you mean grammar? Okay. That's my acting, by the way. Yes, grammar comes first, because exams compel you to learn grammar rules to answer the questions, replied Betty Ran. Yeah, if you're doing sort of the classical approach to learning and you're at school, you will face exams, you will need to learn the rules of grammar, and you'll need to learn the terminology, because they'll use the terminology. So, Betty Ran, with that in mind, capital Y for yes, comma, space. Grammar comes first. comma, because exams compel you to learn grammar rules in order to answer the questions. That's what I would say. I replied, tongue-in-cheek, by the way, it's really a chicken and egg thing. However, I can assure you that when I learnt English, I didn't start with grammar, or reading, or spelling, or writing. I started by listening and figuring out how to get what I wanted by repeating the things that were important to me. And I put a link into a little video on the magazine. Zeb replied to Bediran, so you are looking for taking an English exam, aren't you? I'd say you are looking to take an English exam, aren't you? And then Zeb said, what will happen after you passed it? Okay, will, passed. You could say what will happen after you have passed it, or it would be better to say what will happen after you pass it. Will it open the door to something else? In fact, like studying English, said Bediran, it's not a boring activity for me. And yes, I have to pass the English exam to be an academician. So I think what you were trying to say there, Bediran, is, in fact, I like studying English, full stop. It, capital I, is not a boring activity for me, comma, and yes, comma, space, capital I, have to pass the English exam, or I have to pass an English exam to become an academician. Then you've got a full stop. Then you say, I have passed. Oh, I see. Okay, I have already passed this exam, comma, but I want to get a higher mark, full stop. This is the door with a capital T. So then, Zeb, you said, I don't think you're talking about getting access to the French Academy. So are academicians the same as doctors, these people with the PhD? Now, just so you know, Zeb, academician in the US is just another word for academic, okay? Which is why I then replied, personally, I like the two meanings of academic. And Zeb replied, when I looked it up as a noun, I got an entertaining charlatan. To which I replied, hee hee. There are different meanings to different words, you know. Noor said, hi, anybody here? Now, Noor, you might wonder why Zeb replied the way she did, because she said the body of Zeb is around these parts at the moment. So, Noor, anybody is one word, okay? In your context, it should be written as one word, A-N-Y-B-O-D-Y. And don't forget, hi is just H-I. I said, wow, that sounds serious. Are you having an OOB experience? To which Zeb replied, I know that you hardly know anything about the Dragon Ball universe. Hardly know anything? Does that include nothing? But Oob, the reincarnation of Boo, I think you mean the, just once, the most powerful warrior of the universe. Okay. But Oob, I think you meant to say, is the reincarnation of Boo, the most powerful warrior of the universe. It is serious. Will you join to be a disciple of Son Goku too? Okay, or is that Son Goku too? I'm not sure, is it Son Goku or Son Goku? I know nothing about this universe. I doubt it, I replied, lol. It brings to mind the old quote, I wouldn't want to belong to any club that would have me as a member. Well, I wouldn't want to follow anyone who would have me as a disciple. By the way, my OOB meant out-of-body experience, just in case you didn't hashtag look it up. I did, said Seb. The notion of clubs or circles is very British. San Goku, oh, it's changed from Son to San, now you are confusing me. And the clique just enjoy the playground. No member cards, no fee, but it's a tough place. Oh, I'd be no use then, I'm not very tough. So we had a few hellos and highs of people who didn't reply after they'd had a reply. So we'll scroll up. This makes it so much easier for me, you know. Oh, and just so you know, Zeb did ask me, are you going to continue doing these recordings, Lynn? And I said, yes, as long as people have interesting conversations, I am. Anyhow, Karen, well done. You get my attention. Said, hello, everyone. Can you help me to be fluent in English? Zeb said, I think it's your mission, but if you need a chatting partner, I'll gladly be one of them. So I think you meant, but if you need a chatting partner. If your need is a chatting partner, you could say, but it's a bit of a long-winded way to say it. So I think, but if you need a chatting partner, I'll gladly be one of them. Karen said, thank you, I'm very happy. I will be connected this evening. If you're there, please write me. So, Karen, thank you, capital T. I, capital I, am very happy. Full stop. I, capital I, will, W-I-L-L, be connected, small c, this evening, small e. full stop. If you are there, comma, please, small p, write to me, full stop. I wasn't, said Seb, but I don't mind chatting even if we are not connected at the same time. Do you need to be fluent in English because you use it in business settings and with native speakers? And Karen replied, OK, which is fine, Karen, but capital O, capital K, or capital O, K-A-Y, not small o, small k, OK? OK. At this moment, said Karen, I am not needed it for business settings, but it's possible that I need it in the future, and I won't be ready. Oh, no, and I won't to be ready. OK, all right, I've got you. So at this moment, I don't need it for business settings. So capital I, and then settings is S-E-T-T-I-N-G-S. Then a comma, but it is possible that I, capital I, will need it in the future. And in the future, just small letters, comma, and I'm afraid I won't be ready. Okay, which would be okay, or and I want to be ready. Don't write it all in capitals, otherwise it's shouting. And want is W-A-N-T. Won't is W-O-N apostrophe T, and it's short for will not. Okay. Then Karen said, I also want to speak well in some opportunities, like when I go to other country. Ooh, careful there. Okay. I also, capital I, want to be able to speak well. And S-P-E-A-K for speak, very important to be able to spell that correctly because so many of you want it. You might as well know how to spell it. To take advantage of some opportunities, and that's a small o. For example, when I, capital I, go to other countries, C-O-U-N-T-R-I-E-S. Okay, I will be very happy if you will correct me less when I do a spelling errors than when I do a grammar errors or connecting statement errors. Oh, gosh, okay, I think what you mean is it will make me happy if you could correct my spelling less and my grammar errors more, maybe. So really they all go hand in hand. Maybe you know your spelling's not that great, but yeah, you do need to improve your grammar, that's for sure. That was very difficult for me to figure out what you wanted there. Where are you from? That's perfect, Karen. You just need a capital W with where. Zebs then said, then you might be happy to hear that every week Lynn corrects 1 week of messages. The recording at the top of the page contains last week corrections. Okay, what you need there is the possessive, last week's corrections, and that's W-E-E-K apostrophe S. So the the corrections from last week, okay? I'm from France. Okay, Azad Mia said to Karen, yeah, I am, to anyone online. And really, Azad, Karen said, can you help me to be fluent in English? So your reply should have been, yes, I can. So your reply sort of says, maybe you can't, okay? Thanks, I'm very happy, said Karen. Where are you from? So thanks, with a capital T, I, capital I, very, V-E-R-Y, and then where, capital W, okay? So let's scroll up a bit more and see what we can come across. And I'm going to read this one out, even though Bilal didn't really reply to anyone. Bilal said, anyone want to teach Eng? Okay, anyone, capital A, and it's one word, A-N-Y-O-N-E. Want to teach Eng? Well, that would be English, I guess, with a capital E, okay? And a question mark is required. And Seb replied, not me, not really. I've never felt like becoming a teacher. And you, do you like teaching? I replied, which begs the question, can you really teach a language? And Zeb said, teachers may be a big help, but without my enthusiasm to learn it, I think that they are useless. There are exceptions, though, since some people, including teachers, may also be an inspiration to others. Then you can grasp anything. Yeah, I stay by my statement. You can't teach a language. You have to learn it, guys. Aladdin popped along to tell everybody that the LEN radio show was starting. Well done, Aladdin. And hopefully some people joined him. That's a chance for you to talk, guys, and record it and get it out on the internet. Natalie came along and said, hello to everyone, how are you? So it's Y-O-U, Natalie. And Zeb said, fine. Yesterday I discovered a new beer, the Negro Modelo. It's a Mexican beer. It was perfect with my tacos. How are you doing? So don't forget, Mexican is with a capital M. What was this your Mexican meal, Zeb? I asked. And then, somebody called Name came along and said, teacher, is that chat room? If not, so how may I find chat room? Okay, so teacher, capital T, is this the chat room? Okay, that's fine. If not, capital I, comma, how may I, capital I, find the chat room? Question mark. You've got lots of dots and too many question marks all over the place. Sort out your punctuation. It will make your writing easier to read. Well, we do chat here, I replied, but we also have chat rooms on Skype. Anyhow, Zeb replied to me and said, say a follow-up. 2 weeks ago, I discovered homemade tamal, but this time we went to a Mexican place in Paris, El Guacamole. What a wonderful name. Great, I replied. So we know about the beer, but was the food good? And Zeb said, I haven't tried everything yet. I love the yet. But la tortilla, or kind of crepe to wrap up the food, is homemade. And my puerco verde was excellent. I replied, I'm jealous. We do have a Mexican restaurant here, but it's not very good. Actually, I'm being a bit unfair because I haven't been for years. I'm very, very slow in forgiving bad meals. I had a really terrible meal there once and haven't been back for years. Maybe they're okay now. They're still there, so they can't be that bad. Okay, so Sid actually wrote a really long text, although he didn't actually have a conversation. I'm going to correct it for you, Sid. Said, hi, my name is Sid. So that would be capital S for your name, Sid. And I am a new user. Don't forget capital I. I am pretty bad in English, even though I have living in USA about 14 years. So I have been living in the USA for about 14 years. I don't know why do I get confused front of people when I speak. Okay, I don't know why I get confused when I speak in front of people. And that's capital I again. I am getting into complex because of this. Okay, I'm getting a complex because of this. So now I have decided that no matter of what I need to do this. So now I've decided that no matter what, comma, I need to do this. One more thing, I want to be a writer or a famous writer. So capital O, one more thing, comma, I want to be a writer, comma, a famous writer. Oh, not an or, sorry, a famous writer. I just need help in that too, capital I. Seriously, I feel like to kill myself sometime because life is getting very unfair. Okay, seriously, capital S, I feel like killing myself sometimes because life is unfair. I never had that thought in mind where I will be thinking about this. Okay, I never thought I'd be thinking like this, just because of my English skills. I wish I had paid attention when I was going to high school here. So capital I, capital I, capital I. And you're not alone. So many people had the opportunity to learn English at school, but really, did you have that opportunity to learn it, or did you have the opportunity to be taught it? Okay. But I was really lazy learning thing. Okay, capital I again. And I would say I was really lazy learning things. Now my brain doesn't work that much, even though I try. Okay, now my brain doesn't work hard enough, even though I try hard. Okay, I just need someone who can help me in my written and verbal so I can get better. Okay, I just, capital I again, need someone who can help me with my written and verbal English so I, capital I, can improve. Okay, Zeb replied, hi Sid, how are you going to encourage people to chat with you if you start saying that you are bad at English? You've developed a complex about it and your brain doesn't work properly? Lol. Anyway, I'll not flee, not yet. So, yeah, Sid, I mean, you want people to talk to you, don't say you're about to slash your wrists, okay? Having bad English is no excuse for suicide. There's not many excuses for suicide, actually. Having suicidal thoughts, you might want to think about talking to somebody about that if you're really being serious. As for writing, I just corrected your post. It was well written, wasn't perfect. That's what editors are for. So if you want to write, write. Okay? That's all I'm going to say on that. But yeah, by all means, come back and see if we can help you more. Okay? Sid also said, how can I talk too if I want to get better in my English accent? Okay, so how can I talk here, I think is what you meant. And don't forget, capital I. And then if, capital I, capital I, want to get better, want to improve my English accent. Okay. And then Zeb said, in my case, I look for language exchange partners and also take part in the group activities run by the LE network. Neha came along and said, "Hi Zeb, I took part in today's reading session. It was very interesting, but time flies." And Zeb said, "When time flies, it means that you're having a good time. Why a sad face then?" Neha said, "It's my mistake. I don't know what sentence I have to use there." I wouldn't say that. I'd say I wasn't sure how to say it. Okay, I wasn't sure how to express what I felt. My expression on face is correct. Okay, I'd say the expression on my face was correct. I was saying the session was 1 hour, but I felt like it ended very fast. Okay, so don't forget when you join a sentence together using a conjunction, little joining word like but, you just need a comma and then but. Okay, so I'd put in I was saying the session was 1 hour, comma, but I felt like it ended very fast, or maybe it seemed to end very quickly. I replied, "We do say time flies when you're having fun, so I'm glad it seemed to go by quickly. To be honest, Neha, I'd hate you to sit there looking at the clock thinking, when is this going to end?" Zev said, "Your sentence is all right. I've understood that you would have enjoyed some extra time. It's just that I've always heard people saying time flies only to express that they've had a good time. Monday sessions are recurrent. Hopefully you'll be able to join again." Exactly. Anyhow, then Neha gets a gold star because she came in and said, "I would like to share a few vocabularies discussed in today's reading session." Okay, I say words. Vocabulary tends to be uncountable in normal use. So I'd say, I'd like to share a few words discussed in today's reading session. Peckish, which means hungry. Hay means dried grass. Fiver means £5. Okay? Someone, said Zeb, was feeling peckish for hay, but the ration costed a fiver and he didn't have enough money. Does it make sense, Neha? Okay, it would if you'd said, but the ration cost a fiver. We only use costed when we're talking about setting a price. So accountants, the accountant costed the materials for the new project, okay? So that's to place a cost on something, not cost as in how much did it cost, okay? It's one of those funny words. Don't worry about it too much. And Neha said, "Yeah, it's easy to remember if we connect in sentence." Exactly. And we'd say in a sentence. "I agree," said Zeb. "This someone has got to be an animal, though. Maybe a cow, a horse, or a donkey." And I replied, "A farmer might chew on a stalk of hay," okay? So it could be a person. And then... now, I think, I'm not sure how to say this, NAR3MO, okay, I'm going to say Nemo, who came along in answer to Neha's post and said she has not fiver to buy hay for her cow, so it was left peckish. Okay, I'd say she didn't have a fiver to buy hay, with a small h, for her cow, so it was left peckish, and that would be with a small p. Clever, I said. She didn't have a fiver, or she hasn't got a fiver. And I'll admit I got a bit carried away there because you were sort of talking about something we'd discussed in a session, so I was all excited. Normally I do the corrections in this live chat recording. Thanks, teacher, for correction. So thanks, teacher, and it's okay to write it with a small t, for the correction, full stop. Good, said Zeb. I think I can improve it a bit. She didn't have a fiver to buy hay for her cow, so it was left feeling peckish. By the way, it would be better to use the reply button under the original message, otherwise it is hard to guess that you were playing Neha's game. Thanks for correction, Zeb, and I will follow your advice, and I will use the reply button next time. Okay, so again, thanks for the correction. Thanks for the correction, Zeb with a capital X. Then you could just have a full stop there, because you said thank you. It's a different sentence next. I, capital I, will follow your advice and will use the reply button next time. Great, said Zeb. By the way, if you like these kind of activities, you should try the game section of the forum. I quite agree. Or the game section in the website either as well. Some of them are quite good fun. And Nemo said, thanks for guidance. I will try game section. Okay, thanks for your guidance, or thanks for the guidance. I will try the game section. I'm sorry to say, but A and the, you do need to get used to how to use them in English. We use them a lot, okay? But thanks for sharing that, Neha. So we had a few hellos and highs, and we ended up in live chat, which means that's it for this week. Nice and short and easy to find, I hope. Just go to the live chat page if you want to read the text whilst you're listening to this, and scroll down to the part that says 2015-01-27 LEN Live Chat, and then scroll down to the next LEN Live Chat, and then in between those two dates you will find this text, okay? It's not that easy, I know, but a little bit of perseverance and you will get there. Or just relax, listen, and let it flow over you, okay? Anyhow, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll speak later, I'm sure. Take care. Remember, get out there, practice your English, be nice, be kind, and if you can't be good, just don't get caught. Bye.